in your truth, honoring your own growth and the growth of others. But again, with that death will come, it's realizing that life is too short. Now, one of the things that it says is, it's time to know that in whatever way you feel trapped, you are killing yourself before life is taken from you. Kill the thing that is killing you. So I really think that for Cancer this week, it's really looking at the things that are not worthy of you anymore. All right, Cancer, here we go. Here's your overall for the week. The Queen of Pentacles. So some of you may be focused on a person here, possibly an earth sign. Some of you, it may be that, you're feeling like you don't need any assistance. And that seems to be coming up a lot for me with the Queen of Pentacles. So if you're taking on this energy right now, the Queen of Pentacles doesn't really need anybody to help her create stability and security. She knows how to create her own comfortable environment. Very in tune with herself and her surroundings. And I feel like, there is security and stability that's going on here. But, I do think that for some of you, you may be focused on a person, an earth possibly. Now, in the past, the Eight of Pentacles. So busting your ass, working really hard. And again, if you're taking on this energy of the Queen of Pentacles, you're busting your ass right now to create a secure, comfortable environment for yourself. And possibly your family here, being the breadwinner, so to speak, but working really hard with the Eight of Pentacles. But, one of the things that I love about this one is it really shows that, the person who is really super focused and working really hard clearly knows what they're doing. And again, the Queen of Pentacles, right? Now, in the present, Temperance. So needing to have a little bit of patience, possibly. If you've been putting a lot of effort into something here, it's like needing to just kind of like be patient and wait for like results to show up. Being patient with yourself in a situation here, being guided, but growth, continued growth seems to be the big thing here. Future conditions. Okay, I see what's going on. The world. Looking at the world and future conditions, it's about, that major completion in your life, but in a way that you feel good about it. It is the successful completion, getting closure on a situation. And for some of you, it's just right now needing to be patient to get to that point. Like you've worked really hard here to get to this place of security and stability, and now there's a need to just close out one chapter here and move on to the next. But it's good. It's good in terms of you being successful, especially with, work. So it's not bad. I just think that right now it's like needing to just kind of like simmer down, just be patient, right? Things will eventually reach a point to, this closure that you need. Your best path to follow, you, the Chariot. Willpower and self-control. That is how that momentum starts ticking or picking up pace. Now, with the Chariot here, it could be that you're needing to kind of get control over some emotions though too, right? But it's saying that, as long as you have control over what is going on with you internally, especially with Temperance being there, there's no reason why momentum can't start picking up here. Look at it, And I don't ever see Cancer as the type to be out of control. But I think, if your emotions are kind of like all over the place and you haven't had time to focus on it and you've been working really hard here, just be patient here. Pull on that self-control and eventually you're going to reach this point here with the world. And it looks good. Nothing here is bad. Okay. Now, in your environment, so the moon, and this one keeps showing up. This is going to be one of those weeks. People are still probably dealing with the effects of the last full moon here. Now, with the moon being in your environment, and it's no wonder why Temperance is there, you need to be careful here about projecting fears and anxieties that are not real onto a situation or seeing yourself in a distorted way. I've been continuously talking about the moon. The moon does not fully illuminate your path. It is about paying attention to your instincts. when it comes to seeing things for what they really are, because under the light of the moon, they're not. And you need to be careful about projecting illusions onto the situation here. And it could just be that right now it's like being confused about how to get to this closure, how to get to, this ending here, but eventually you get there. It's just a matter of needing to be patient. And my God, Cancer, are you serious? And you guys aren't the only one to be dealing with like major energy right now. Okay. Your hopes and your fears, the Five of Cups. So, and I can understand wanting to have closure on this if you've dealt with this. Now, the Five of Cups is suggesting that, you've been through disappointment, emotional suffering, maybe dealing with some loss here. But like I said, with the Chariot being there, it really is about you getting those emotions under control so that you can keep moving forward here and going in the right direction and not feeling like you're going nowhere fast or being pulled all over the place. And I can understand now why there's a need to have this ending here with the world. But again, it's a hope and a fear. But it does suggest that, you've been through some really difficult times here, especially with the moon being there. And it's funny because I'm looking at, and usually you see the full moon here. You have the crescent moon, but then you have the full moon here. But again, it's really about you needing to get control over that. And always with the Five of Cups, the big message has been that not all is lost. You still have those two cups that you get to build on. And I think that you've been working really hard, like really hard. And it's like, okay, it's time for, these difficult situations to be over with, and get that clarity that you need. But yeah, I think that there's a need here to just kind of get control over these emotions, because with the moon being there, I worry about anxiety. It's not like the Nine of Swords, but it kind of has that feeling a little bit. And then coming out, very nice, very nice. So victory over adversity, being recognized for a job well done. You do get to that successful completion here. And it looks good. It looks really good. All right. So when we're looking at, this place of victory here and getting to this successful completion and getting ready to start something new, it's going to be, for some of you, about relationships and feeling happy within the relationship that you're in. Maybe wanting to get the attention of somebody here. But really, with the Nine of Cups, it's great and all when you're having your wishes fulfilled, but what does that mean, especially in the long run? And what I worry about is with the Devil coming out. Needing to be careful here about slipping back into negative feelings and negative thoughts. The bad things that you really need to release yourself from. And I'm hoping that you guys are trying to get over this now, and that's where this completion is needing to happen. And this closure, it needs to be over with. I worry that if you're working really hard, especially at a relationship here, that you do get control over these emotions and don't slip back. Because again, the relationship, the connection between two people, and there being happiness there and being what you want, and it's almost like you've been working really hard at this, really hard to show like another person that you can be dependable, or working really hard to get their attention, to get, closure on the negative things and start working on a relationship possibly. But just, be careful. Be careful. And that may be where that death will come, is coming in. Life is too short to continuously go over the negative things. We need to clear this up now. There needs to be closure on that. Because it's all about the growth, right? And then do something for someone else. Give your attention to someone else. Oof. Okay. So, needing to spend some quality time together and needing to give your attention to this person. But for some of you, and I feel hesitant on saying this, there may be a need for you to give your attention to somebody else that's actually wanting to spend that quality time with you. But But it, like I said, it could just simply be that, you need to start giving more attention to the relationship and getting past the difficult things that would otherwise, like, set things back. Because again, you're needing closure on these negative things here. But it's not bad, Cancer. I just worry a little bit with the moon being there. I'm glad that Temperance is in the present moment, because, it's like getting control over those opposing forces and getting things going in the right direction, especially in terms of relationships right now. All right, Cancer. So, with the Queen of Pentacles, I feel both. I feel like this is going to have to do with a person, but then also I think this is going to have to do with you working really hard right now. But what I worry about is, the anxiety that's coming up here with the moon. And then, I'm glad that Temperance is here. It's like you are being pulled in two different directions. And I can understand, but there's like this guidance here that's telling you that you need to just kind of like simmer down, right? Don't get caught up in projecting those unrealistic anxieties and fears onto a situation here, especially if you've been working really hard to possibly get the attention of a person here, like, hey, we need to work on things. Because I am looking at the Five of Cups and thinking that, yeah, there's probably some hurt emotions here that need to be dealt with and worked out. And I get it. And I'm glad that this is what is future conditions, because it is about getting closure, but, you have to be willing to work toward that, though, too. And I think that you have been in the past, but it's about continuing that here. And, again, getting control over those opposing forces, and not being pulled in so many different ways emotionally, especially in regards to a relationship here. But like I said, with the Six of Wands, I feel like, you're getting victory here, especially with the world being here. But I also do worry about you potentially slipping into, some negative things. It's almost like when things start working out in the right way, especially as far as a relationship goes, it's like everything is happy and everything is great, but then all of a sudden it's like, but wait a minute, and the negative things start coming back up and you like slip. And I think that that's why these two are showing up. Your life is too short to be wasting on things that are not going to help you with continuous growth, especially as far as relationships go. Now, teach yourself to take a risk here and release those things. You have to release it. If you're wanting continuous growth, that's what you're going to have to do. Now, spend some quality time together and do something for someone else. And it may be that you need to do something, for somebody that you're needing to spend quality time with. Now, on the other hand, it was almost like a poke. Like maybe you need to spend time with somebody else that actually wants to spend quality time with you. And that's only for some of you. But like I said, Cancer, it's one of those things where you need to be careful about slipping back into the